Look, we all sat down, we had a meeting and we discussed it and we voted. And your cartridge, specifically your cartridge, the one you like and the one you prefer, sucks. We voted, okay? So you're out. It's out. You gotta get rid of it. Hey, I don't know if this is your first day on the internet or what, but if this is your first day on the internet, you may have just come to realize, or maybe realizing shortly, that there are a lot of stupid people on the internet. And they'll just argue with you, just for the sake of arguing on the internet with strangers, because they're stupid. So just be warned, if this is your first day. I find it so bizarre that some people will sit down and pick a cartridge and basically base their entire identity off of that cartridge just because their granddad used it to kill something sometime at some point somewhere and said it was the best thing that ever existed. It's one of the most hotly debated parts of the gun tube space on the interwebs here is which cartridge is the best cartridge for all the things and all the stuff and all the time everywhere, and who's got the best cartridge and who's got the best iteration of that cartridge. What's your favorite bullet? What's your favorite version of that cartridge? What's your favorite gun to shoot it out of? What's the favorite action? What's the best action? It's a ridiculous argument. There's no better place in the world to go than the internet to argue with morons about being morons. And there's no shortage of people that'll tell you that cartridge X with bullet Y in rifle Z is the only way to effectively engage P, the target downrange or whatever. Whatever the target is, whatever the situation, whatever the scenario, you're gonna find for every one person you get on here and have an intelligent discussion with about cartridges and long range shooting or hunting or bullets or style or type, all that good stuff, you have one or two intelligent conversations with some people who kind of can cogently form a thought and have that discussion in kind of a mature manner, I guess you could say, and actually just learn from each other and get people's experiences, like, because somebody else's experiences are different from mine. But every one person you find like that you can actually have that kind of discussion with, you're gonna find 10 people that will argue with you about the sky being blue, simply because they're on the internet and that's all they have to do is argue. So here's my advice. Here's what this video is about. If you are into shooting, if you're into the gun space or whatever, we're all supposed to be one unified Second Amendment supporting group of people here in the US, right? Like people who are Second Amendment gun people. They're supposed to be like supportive and all on the same page. There's no community more divided than the gun community. I'll just say it outright. Like they will eat their own, people will, in the gun space and in the Second Amendment community, the gun tube, all that stuff. They will eat their own. So here's my advice to you. Wading through all the fluff online, wading through all the cartridge talk and all the ballistics and all the back and forth and which is better and this one's better for this and that and the other. What do you need it for? What do you need a rifle for? What do you need a pistol for? What is your preference? What is your use case scenario? What is the scenario where you, as an individual, have chosen a rifle or chosen whatever and to use it for whatever? Pick that cartridge based on your preference, based on your likes, your dislikes, and your needs. You know what I mean? Like really, you can simplify it to that. We can all sit here and argue until we're blue in the face about why your cartridge sucks and mine's better, or why your load sucks and mine's better, why your bullet sucks and mine's better, why this cartridge versus this cartridge is this cartridge and this and yada yada yada. The facts of the matter are, though, the things we're talking about shooting with bullets, whether they're two-legged or four-legged, hunting or self-defense, long range or short range, the fact of the matter is that most things that you would actually employ a rifle for, cartridge for, whatever, are thin-skinned breathing animals of some capacity or another. If you put a bullet of good construction in the correct spot in any of those scenarios, you're going to be successful in affecting that target. Let's just put it that way. You'll be successful no matter if it's a 22 caliber or a 338 or a 50 caliber. If you put the bullet in the right place from a rifle that you can shoot well, and it's the type of bullet that can do the job, right? So you're not gonna stick a 40 grain VMAX 17 caliber or whatever 22 caliber bullet in a water buffalo, okay? Just not gonna go in. Like, it's simple as that. Like, if you take a 22 with a VMAX bullet, varmint type of bullet that explodes and stuff like that, and you shoot a water buffalo with it, you're gonna piss him off. That's about it. And then he's gonna stomp you to death and we're all gonna laugh at your funeral. You know what I'm saying? That's what you're gonna get out of the scenario. So you have to be realistic when it comes to your hunting scenario, when it comes to your long range shooting scenario. Long range shooting, I don't need a 7mm for long range shooting. It may be a little flatter, a little faster, and go a little further than a 6mm, right? Okay, 6mm kind of small for bullets, as bullets go. 6mm versus 7mm or 338. Let's say 338 or something like that. 338 Lapua. I can shoot great long range with a 338 Lapua. But a 6mm and a 6mm arc going 2,600 feet per second out of a moderately sized gun is going to affect targets at 1,000 yards just as well, so far as, can I hit the target? Can I see when I hit the target? Can I tell when I've gotten hit at that range? Yes, a 6mm bullet will do it. So in that instance, target shooting, I don't necessarily need a howitzer to take it down, right? Because we're just target shooting. Now, if we're looking at something like long range shooting for hunting purposes, let's just throw the elk out there, because that's what everybody likes to go to, even though most of you will never even see an elk in your entire life. Can you kill an elk with a 6mm? Yes, you can. I watched 2 people do it this last season. 2 people that were about this tall. This tall. They did it successfully, very successfully, at pretty decent ranges, about 200 yards-ish, right around there. Both elk died pretty handily. Should you do it with a 6mm? Well, yeah, if you're about this tall, yeah. If you're about this tall, or you just don't like recoil, you don't like long actions, and you don't like heavy guns, why not? You're just gonna have to get closer to your game, right? It's that simple. Do you need a 338 Lapua for that? No, but it would probably be pretty effective. Like if you say you're shooting the same animal, it's a big bull, trophy size, whatever, 4 bajillion points and all this great things, and it weighs the basic equivalent of a Mack truck. That thing's out at 800 yards. This is a once in a lifetime hunt. It's the only time you're ever gonna get to hunt elk in your life, and this is the only shot you're ever gonna get. What would you bring to the table? Personally, I'd bring something pretty heavy to the table. 300 Win Mag, 300 Win Short Mag, 7mm PRC, 338 Lapua. If I had it, sure, why not? Howitzer, okay, great. Whatever I can do to take that animal off its feet, put it on the ground, and get the meat, right? That's the point. So instead of getting caught up in all the minutia of all that and playing the scenario game all the time, look at your use case scenario. What do you need a rifle for? Why do you need a rifle? Why do you want this? Why do you want this caliber versus that caliber? It really doesn't matter what anybody else said. I'm telling you, every time you go online, it never fails. You have 1 or 2 people that you can have an intelligent conversation with. They like sharing information. They like, getting feedback, sharing your experiences. Hey, this is the experience I've had. This, what have you had? This, that, and the other. And then you have 10 people who are just going to argue with you for the sake of arguing. They're just trolls. Like, that's just their whole purpose in life, is to sit in their grandmother's basement, eating Cheetos and just causing strife on the internet just because they're bored. They're bored human beings. So pick a cartridge that you like. Do you like to shoot? Do you like to load if you load? Do you like to buy if you buy? Do you like to, shoot at long range if you shoot at long range? You like to shoot at short range if you shoot at short range? Pick a cartridge you like for the scenario you're going into that works the best for you, and learn how to use it. That's the point. That's the more important point of all this, is the cartridge is, they are important. They matter. They do matter. And the sizes and dimensions and types and all that stuff, they do matter, okay? I'm not saying cartridge doesn't matter when it comes to hunting, shooting, long range, defense, whatever. But what matters more is your ability with it. Your ability. Your capabilities as a shooter and as an effective rifleman, somebody who understands ballistics and all those good things, that matters more than any cartridge ever will. Because I've known guys that would absolutely wreck. I could take all of my, every experience and knowledge I have and the best shooting rifle I have with the longest range or whatever, and do my absolute best on a day, and I could give these guys a rack grade military rifle of some sort with some basic calibers, and they would outshoot just about everybody on the range, just because they understand how to shoot. They're mature. They understand what bullets do and how they do it. I'm not saying the science isn't important. If you're going long range, the science is important. You have to have the science down. You have to have the math down, or you're just never gonna make hits. And you have to have a cartridge and caliber that are capable of doing that at long range, right? That's a very niche thing, the long range thing. Everybody's got the long range bug lately. Most people will never actually shoot long range, or they won't do it more than maybe once or twice a year. It's very few people that actually have the luxury to sit out on these longer ranges like professional shooters do, and spend a lot of time putting bullets down range, and a lot of time tweaking, a lot of time sciencing the crap out of this stuff so that they get the best and most effective range for their bullets and all this, combinations set up so that they can make those more predictable hits more consistently downrange. That's a very small subset of people in the overall scheme of things when it comes to the hunting community, when it comes to the shooting community in general. So you have to kind of figure out where you live in that space. And if you're just like a hobbyist enthusiast like I am, a long range guy, some of the minutia doesn't actually matter as much. You can get bogged down by the minutia of arguing this caliber versus this one, this bullet versus this one, this SD versus this SD. You know, yes, you want all the factors to be as good as possible. You want all the factors in your entire setup, from your rifle to your load to your bullet to your powder to your primers to your brass, the whole 9 yards. You want them to be as consistent as possible. You want them to be as clean as possible, but you can do a lot of that with factory ammo and a factory rifle. You just can. You can do a lot of it with a basic cartridge like a 308. Or a 6.5 Creedmoor, or a 6mm of some kind, or whatever. You can do most of the things you need to do as a shooter with those. AR-15, basic AR-15 shooting 223 or 5.56. You can do a lot with that, with just a basic gun and a basic caliber. Don't get bogged down by the minutia. But we did discuss it, and your caliber specifically sucks. And here's the number one takeaway from all of this, if you hear anything at all out of this. Get off the internet and go shoot. Don't waste your time arguing with morons on the internet. Just go shoot. See what happens. Take your gun, take your bullets, take your ballistic calculator, your targets, whatever, and go shoot. And see what happens. Write it down. That's one of the best ways to know if your caliber choice, your cartridge choice, is effective for you and your needs. Go shoot it. See if it does what you need it to do. It's as simple as that. All right, don't get caught up in it out there. Just enjoy shooting, have fun, respect the sport, respect the people, and respect the right to keep and bear arms for all citizens. That's what this is really about. The right to keep and bear arms. Protect yourself, protect others, and do what you want to do with a gun in your hand that's legal and moral. Moral. Let's go with moral, because there's a lot of things that are illegal or legal, they're not moral, and illegal that are moral. I don't know, it's something like that. Anyways, y'all have a good day. Keep your knife sharp, keep your powder dry, keep your magazines loaded. Shoot whatever caliber you want, whatever cartridge you want. Just learn how to shoot it well and learn its limitations. That's pretty smart. Where are your limitations with the caliber and cartridge you've chosen? That's all that really matters.